My name is Stephanie Wills, and this is EDL 852, Module 10, Helping Students Realize Their Learning Norms. There are 10 ways to help students learn about student norms and through many different concepts. First one is relationships. Number 2, relevance. 3, time. 4, timing. 5, through play. Through practice. 7, through choice. 8, through authenticity. 9, challenge. And 10, application. I'm going to go through each one of these and explain it a little bit more. First, relationships. What are some questions that students may be asking about relationships? They may be asking, am I another face in the crowd? Do my teachers know me? Do they help me build relationships? What can administrators and teachers do to help students find and understand the norms expected in these situations? They can get to know students, ask questions, ask them about their likes, their dislikes, their interests. Help form relationships with peers and adults. And with peers, this might be doing group activities. This might be introducing students to coaches, to different group organizers such as Quiz Bowl or FFA, and introducing them to people that could be mentors or coaches. Could be sharing common interests with students that I have as an administrator, as a teacher, talking about things that maybe we have in common and having conversations about those things. Number 2, relevance. Some of the questions students might be asking about relevance is, why am I learning this? Is this something I need to learn for my future? Is this information I'm going to use? What can administrators and teachers do to help students understand and learn the norms for relevance? They can explain the purpose of assignments and activities, explain how students can use this information in the real world, and make assignments and activities purposeful so students understand why they're doing it and why it is important in the real world. Number 3, time. What are some of the questions that students might be asking about time? Am I expected to learn all of this now? At what pace are we going over this information? Who decides the pace at which I am learning this information? What administrators and teachers can do to help students meet these norms and understand these norms? Break down chapters or assignments into smaller pieces. Instead of having a great big assignment due at the end of the chapter, maybe having smaller pieces and assignments due that students can find easier to finish and turn in. Allow group activities where they can share information and learn from each other. And remember that all students learn at different paces. Number 4, timing. What are some questions students are asking about timing? Do I have to learn this information in the same sequence? Can I learn in my own sequence? Can I learn in a sequence that fits my style and interest? What are some things administrators and teachers can do to help students understand and learn more about these norms? They can give students a choice of different ways to complete an assignment. For example, maybe they can do a slideshow, or they could do a report, or they could do a poster, or they could do a skit. So just giving them different ways to express and show their learning. Allow students to pace themselves when appropriate, and allow some flexibility in the order of assignments. This might not always be applicable, but when it is, giving students that choice. Play, number 5. What are some questions that students may have about play? Do I have the opportunity to explore and make mistakes? Do I have opportunities to make guesses and figure things out on my own? How can administrators and teachers help students understand and explore play throughout norms? First, giving students the opportunity to try things on their own way and in their own way, and exploring, asking questions that get students thinking and finding out answers on their own. And then just allowing free time, allowing students the opportunity to explore without expectations and without deadlines put upon them. Number 6, practice. Some of the questions that students might be asking about practice are, do we learn something new and then move on? Do I get to practice those skills? What administrators and teachers can do to help students allow time for practice. Provide a wide variety of opportunities in different situations and environments to practice those skills, so they're not always being practiced in the classroom. Maybe You have different activities where they're in different environments at different times, so they're understanding how they can use those skills in lots of different ways. And then reviewing previous information. Number 7, choices. Some of the questions that students might be asking about choices are, do I have choices about what, how, and where I learn? Do I have choices in how I demonstrate my abilities? How administrators and teachers can help students with that is giving students the opportunity to complete assignments in a variety of ways. Have a variety of classes for students, whether it be art, music, theater, any of those things that might interest students. Allowing students to work in different areas of the room when appropriate. Some students like to stand. Some people learn best by laying down. Some people like quiet. Some people like dark. Some people like light. So giving them the opportunity to go where they can when appropriate to learn and to study. Provide lessons in a variety of ways for all learners. Not every learner learns the same way. So providing lessons that students can see, students can hear, maybe students need to move. So really keeping that in mind as you're going through each lesson. Authenticity. What are some questions that students may ask about authenticity? Is the learning I'm doing regarded as significant? Does the community recognize the value of my work? What are some things administrators and teachers can do to help students understand the norms and learn about the norms for authenticity? Allow students to hang up their artwork or assignments. Use Facebook websites, Instagram, etc. to share about projects or that groups are competing or completing. Have students talk to groups in the community about things they are working on in their classes. I know in some communities, some of the students are invited to chamber luncheons to come share about what they're working on and things that they're doing. So that would be a great opportunity for them to get involved in the community and talk about what's happening at school. 9, challenge. What are some questions that students are asking about challenge? Is it about completing the work, or do I feel challenged? Am I addressing meaningful standards of excellence? How can administrators and administrators and teachers help students with this norm? They can present projects and assignments in a variety of ways. Continue to ask questions for higher thinking, and then share data that is appropriate with students, maybe sharing information about test scores or graduation rates or college graduation rates, but really sharing information that might be pertinent to what that student's learning or interested in. And number 10, applications. What are some of the questions that students might be asking about application? Is my learning all theoretical? Will I have the opportunity to apply what I'm learning in the real world? And what can administrators and teachers do to help students in this area? They can discuss how skills can be used in the real world, and they can give students the opportunities to try skills in different real-world situations. Standard correlation. This assignment correlates to the outcome by giving me the opportunity to reflect and communicate about the norms that support the educational success of each student. Just as it is important for staff and administration to understand the norms of a school organization, it's also important for students to understand what is expected of them and what behaviors are acceptable. Relevant. This assignment is relevant to my current learning because it's important as an administrator to communicate and cultivate norms for staff, families, and students. This assignment helped me understand that students also have norms and should be involved in establishing those norms. By making students an active participant and giving them a voice in establishing norms, we are engaging them and helping them reflect on the skills that they need to be successful learners. And reflection. This assignment will influence the decisions that I make as a leader by giving me some insight into the norms of students and what questions they may be asking about what is expected and acceptable behavior. This assignment also made me think about how I can help teachers and staff model norms for students and communicate the norms to students through many different activities. It's important to give students a voice so that they can be a part of the decision-making process that makes the school a better place and helps cultivate the best learning environment. And then here are my resources. Thank you for listening to my presentation.